Excellent connection.
All right, and we should be.
Saying you're live. Let's see. Hey.
We good, money?
Yeah. So now let me try to figure out how to print. Or I can take the screen share off.
Specifically, so you can just, for example, use this in a free account.
Oh.
But some of the things I want to show you is.
There we go.
Let's see, so,
All right, and we should be.
you can still go ahead and share and even.
We good, money?
Okay, we still live?
Huh?
I got two screens open. Okay, I stopped the screen share, but we still live though. All right.
Yeah, we still live. Cause it's gonna show everything you do on Zoom.
So it's showing the dominant screen, dominant speaker screen. Yeah, stop this. Like when I'm talking, it's showing me.
Yeah, we still live. Because it's
Turn
gonna
down
show everything you do on Zoom.
your YouTube stream. Just turn the volume down.
Hold on.
It's showing the dominance. Okay, perfect. Oh yeah. So can you hear me all right?
Yeah, I can hear you. I just gotta I just had to turn down the volume on YouTube. So
Okay.
but I can hear you perfectly fine.
All right, cool. I'm using these Bluetooth speakers, so sometimes that's a risk. But these seem to be all right. All right, cool.
Yeah, they seem to be fine.
Yeah, I am going to get a camera soon.
You gonna get a camera?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what helped me up today. I was actually I went to Office Depot and I went to Walmart, but they didn't have any webcams. So I think I'm gonna try Target tomorrow and or Best Buy and see if I can grab one. I was gonna order it on Amazon, but I don't know if it's gonna be here in enough time for tomorrow's show.
That's all right. I mean, I have a long-term view for this. This is going to be at least a weekly show, hopefully a couple times a week.
Mm-hmm.
We can get on. I mean, it's about I'm going to introduce the show because this is going to stay on my YouTube. This is a live look. It's a daily call-in show.
Right.
Nightly call-in show. It's not going to be every night, but it's going to be at night. And it goes behind the tie. We're going between the lines of that Times New Roman resume that, has all your experience and everything that you do, all your fly education. We're going between that and behind the name tag, you got a heart. So we want to figure out we just want to hear what the people that are working, what are their stories?
Right.
Like we were talking about yesterday with McDonald's. Yeah, I want to hear about the founder. I also want to hear about the franchise operator. I want to hear about the night shift guy. I want to hear about the shift managers. I also want to hear the person that's hanging the fries out the drive-through window number 2. I want to hear about everything. Everyone's got stories, and no one's stories are more valuable than the other. I want to hear everything. We have a great mix just with our two personalities. Me as classic. I do have an entrepreneurial mindset, but I haven't taken the risk to call myself an entrepreneur.
Right.
So I'm an employee for most of my career. I'm still an employee during the day. That's why this is going to be a nightly show because your boys got to work. I'm meeting the white man in the morning. Got me till 6 p.m.
Right.
So, and then you're an entrepreneur. It sounds like your first. I mean, I'll let you tell stories even as we go on and on and on. But yeah, even the jobs that you had an entrepreneurial mindset. I'm in sales where a heavy part of my salary is based on commission, and a lot of people won't do that. So I think you probably came in the game in sales, right?
Yeah, I came into the game on sales, man. I've never been one I don't, and this is not a cocky mindset on my behalf, but I don't want to be dictated to. You know what I mean? Like I feel like that I'm smart enough, I'm intelligible enough to learn, study, sharpen my skills, and learn the craft to be able to hold my own. I don't particularly like someone telling me when I can and can't go to the bathroom. Uh, I gotta ask for a break. You know what I mean? That's
Right.
not me. It's never been me. You know
Right.
what I mean? And when it was me out of necessity, it was one of the most horrid feelings I ever felt in my life. You know, besides being paralyzed for 2.5 weeks after breaking my neck. You know what I mean? So I would never, and that's actually how I felt. I felt like I couldn't move. Like I feel like I can't breathe. I really feel I hyperventilate when I'm on a job like that, man. I really hyperventilate. It does something to me mentally and emotionally.
Yeah.
So I just don't like that, man. I'd rather, you live by the sword, you die by the sword. You know what I'm saying? If I'm going to die by the sword, I'd rather fall on my own. So, that's just how I operate, how I think. Um, I am a team guy. Don't get me wrong. I love working in teams, but I feel
Yeah.
like everybody. I feel like for me, I feel like everybody has a special ability. Everybody has that one or two, maybe three, four, five things that they're good at. You know what I mean? And those things you're good at, I might be better in something else. So for me, there's no one higher. It's not this is mine's and this is yours. It doesn't work like that for me. You have a set of skills that make you accountable to this team, that make you valuable to this team. I have a set of skills that make me valuable to this team. So if we put them together, we can supersede any expectations. We won't have any limitations. You know what I mean? And we can win. We can win. I feel like that, minus egos, we can, minus egos. And I think that's the first thing that anybody that has a great platform, a great opportunity to succeed. I think if they fail somewhere along the lines, in my experience, ego came into play. Somebody's ego, somebody pride, and like scriptures say, pride comes before the fall.
Yeah.
So, I am a person, I sit all those things to the side. We're a team. That's my partner. That's my buddy, that's my brother, that's my partner. And hey, he's good at this, I'm good at this. Together, we're great at this. You know what I'm saying? Like you can be good at a bunch of things and I can be good at a bunch of things. And what makes a team so great is that not one person has to be great at anything. Everybody can just be good, but together we're great.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that there was a saying in a group that I was working with, says it wasn't made for superstars, but we have room for superstars. Like our platform wasn't made for superstars, but we have room for them. And what that means is that it doesn't take a great person, it doesn't take this mesmerizing individual to succeed. If you
Right.
have a bunch of, like I tell people, little money a bunch of times, rather a lot of money a little bit of times. And that's how I
Yeah.
operate.
Yeah.
Even in owning my own businesses and being an entrepreneur, I feel like that's what carried me so long. Don't get me wrong, I've lost some things, and I'll be more than happy to go into those stories, because those stories defined who I was. Those stories made me who I am today. You know what I mean? And
Right.
and through those losses and those experiences, I was able to sharpen myself up and pick myself up and keep going and keep moving.
Yeah.
Um, but you know, I think that mindset has got me to this point where I am at now. A little bit of money a lot of times versus a lot of money a little bit of times.
Right.
So,
Right. Um, yeah. I want to go back. You said a lot there. I want to go back to we were talking about teams, but even going back to that where you said when you when you had your 9 to 5 job, or there's times when you had to have your 9 to 5 job. So it
yeah,
sounds like
yeah,
you got into entrepreneurship, And then a lot of entrepreneurs, they working full time and they working for themselves at the
Yeah.
same time. So yeah, it sounds like you have those times. But when you have to work for the man, so to say, does that take you back to the trauma from a massive football injury where you broke your neck, having that feeling confined? Does that the trauma from that did that leak into your professional mindset?
I think that's a good question. I never really tied two and two together. But if I'm being honest, and I look back at it, in my 2020 vision, because that's hindsight. Hindsight is 2020. If I'm going to look back at it, I have to be honest, and I said yes. I said yes. I think it definitely. I think it definitely triggers a what we call a reactive mind in psychology. We call it reactive mind, and reactive mind. Uh, they are triggered by past traumas. The reactive mind is triggered by past traumas,
Right.
and
And there's no shame. There's no shame in anyone's trauma,
yeah,
and we all reacting to something.
right,
And what I might call trauma might be different than what you call trauma, and um, there might be different things to set you off. But it just seemed like there was a parallel when you said that. I feel like I'm restricted. I can't move when I'm punching a clock, and uh, I'm in inside sales now, so I'm selling over the phone. I am physically restricted, but I mean, obviously, I will get up and use the bathroom whenever I want. I will go hard for an hour, then walk away for
yeah,
a half hour or whatever.
yeah,
But having that structure, that might if I was paralyzed for 2 weeks, yeah, that might give me a flashback.
yeah. Serious man, it's real because it's like, all right, think about it like this too. To even go deeper into that for like 2 seconds. No matter how hard you want to move, no matter how hard you try to move, I couldn't move.
Mm.
You know what I mean? No matter how hard I tried to move a finger, I couldn't move it. I couldn't move a toe. The hardest part was when my mom kissed me on the cheek and I couldn't feel her kiss. You know what I mean? And you know what I mean? When she wiped, I knew I was crying because of the emotions you can feel inside, but I couldn't feel the tears roll down my face. So, to translate that to a 9 to 5, that's just like for me and the way I operate, that's just like I come in and no matter how hard I try to be to do this job at 120%, I would never break past what they decided to pay me. I will never be able to change I will never be able to better my reality day to day. You know what I mean? Like if I make just enough to cover my bills, have a little money left over, take the kids to the movies or to the park and buy them ice cream, and I'm comfortable that way. No matter if I go in that job and I try my best, 120%, 150% every day, I cannot change my reality outside of that.
Well, yeah,
Outside of, you know what I mean? Outside of somebody saying, "Hey, I've seen you've been doing this for the past 2 years. Now I want to give you a raise, a $2 raise." You understand what I'm saying? And
yeah, yeah. I understand.
that's what I mean by that. Like,
Yeah,
if your hourly rate, again, commission is a little bit different because you can
it has kind of it gives you a good commission plan it sparks up that entrepreneurial mindset
right.
in the employee. So it gives you a safe box when I say you, I'm actually mean me as an employee.
No, right.
It gives me the safe box so I can go nuts and I can go crazy, go 120%, 30% harder, and hopefully that gets my paycheck higher.
Yeah.
And then if I suck, my paycheck's gonna be lower at a base point.
Right.
But I guess for me, it's attractive, and maybe that's some kind of trauma inside of me, where I feel like I need that high floor, or I'm willing to give up the super high ceiling to make sure I don't drop too low.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So, right. Okay. So for me, I've already felt like I've lost it all. At the age of 14, 15, I was 16 when that happened. I felt like I lost it all.
Right.
So, somebody asked me, well, what did it feel like to be paralyzed? I feel like I said it. It felt like being in a coffin, but you can just hear everything.
Damn.
I was on a stretcher for 2.5 weeks, bro. 2.5 weeks I was on a stretcher. What does it feel like? How is that like? Someone asked me. And I'm like, it felt like you being dead, but you can hear everything. You can't interact with folks, part of the nerves damage that I had suffered at that time, it affected my speech. So it was slurred. So, it was hard. I didn't want to talk. So I kind of retracted and speaking because I just didn't want to hear myself sound like that, So, I feel like I've lost it all. You're talking to a person mentally that feels like, you know what I mean? I'm not going to say what worse can happen because it always can be worse. You know what I mean? So no matter what you're going through, somebody's going through something worse. You know what I mean? But as far as the mentality in me and how I operate, I feel like I've been down. I know what it's like to have nothing. We grew up in a neighborhood where we were constantly reminded every day how unsuccessful my family, how rich my family was not. You know what I mean? I grew.
Okay,
I
I
went
kind of see what you're saying. So for people that don't know, we grew up in an area. We went to high school in an area of Collegeville, Pennsylvania. Ironically, yeah, same town that Greaterford Prison is in.
right.
Yeah. So within earshot, we could hear prison sirens, whatever's going on there. But a lot of the kids we were with were in higher tax brackets. Their parents were in higher tax brackets, and quite a few upper class folks, upper middle class, and then they have a spectrum of people.
Right.
There's quite a bit of money in that school district. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
And what I'm doing right now, I'm just going to let people on Facebook know that we're on. They might not get it right now, but
That's fine.
Yeah,
so growing up in that area and growing up in that environment, I am very thankful for it because it allowed me to see the best of both worlds. Coming from Philadelphia, where I moved from initially, and then still, when I first moved to Collegeville, I was still going to school in Philadelphia. I was traveling. Me, my mom, my sister, we would travel every day all the way back to Philadelphia from Collegeville. And for those that don't know, it's almost about an hour drive or longer during rush hour traffic. So we would get up early in the morning. I still was going to school in Philadelphia before I even transferred to our school.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So what that allowed me to do, and still, going to see my family on the weekends or during the summers, it allowed me to see a duality in life that had we not moved out in that area, I would have never seen anything like that. I would have never known that life for a person my age could be, that smooth, that sweet, that amazing, that cool, having a school that looks like a college campus. Yeah. Our schools in Philadelphia look like a prison. They look like detention centers. Right. We was actually able to walk outside to go to class when they redid this. You know what I mean? Right. They had a little courtyard. That was we didn't have nothing like that. We had nothing like we had school cops and police.
In the office, that was the cakiest job. Yeah, right. Since we talk about jobs, that had to be the cakiest job in the world.
Yeah. So jobs, job wise, my mom in that area, of course, in that area now that motivates you to have to work. And so when I was in high school, I got a job working at the first job I got a job working at Wendy's. I worked there for 2 weeks and then that was it.
Okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I worked at Wendy's for 2 weeks. Yeah, 2 weeks. That was it. That was a wrap. That didn't work any longer. I did get a job after that in high school when I worked at Arnold's. Now I had fun at Arnold's, and that's because, you know, I like to drive the go-karts, and you know what I mean? That was like a high
Right,
school kind
right.
of job. It was fun.
It was what, the summertime, or was it just
Yeah,
after?
summertime, and then I worked during the school time too. But then again, I still felt stuck because there was things that I wanted to do in my life that I could, but having a job, it hindered me from, like working out, going to sports, and doing
Right.
extra activities and stuff like that. I couldn't do it because I had to work. It was a football summer. It was a camp in Syracuse that I had got invited to. I had got invited to play to go to this camp in Syracuse University, and I couldn't go because I had to work. I had to work. Now, of course, you know, mom said, you know, go ahead, take off and go and stuff like that. But I wasn't going because coming up the way we did, with me having a little bit of money in my pocket, it helped my mom. You know, that was less stress on her, or I could give my sister a couple of dollars, or I had a couple of dollars, or, you know, it was just less stress all the way around the board. You know, and that's how we grew up. We grew up like, hey, one have it, we all have it. So it was nothing for my mom to say, hey, Tyler, you know, let me get a couple dollars out this check, or let me get this check out. You know what I mean? All right, here, mom, no problem. Like we gotta support each other. Seeing everybody else and their parents working from home and they don't have to work and they got cars, and you know, we had a school. And for those that don't know, we had a school whose student parking lot was bigger than the teacher parking lot.
Student parking lot looked good too. It looked. I would run the Perkiomen Valley School parking lot over most small businesses or medium-sized business parking lot, especially if it's a job with a bunch of entry-level people.
Yeah.
PV school parking lot is way better.
Yeah, way better.
Car for car.
Car for car. Absolutely, car for car. You talking about BMWs, you talking about Infiniti,
Yeah.
you know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Audis, you know, Audis, and that was like everybody's car, Audis over there, you know what I mean? Passats, and
Yeah.
you know, my mom had a Sundance. Like, you know, she had a Sundance.
I wouldn't park my car right now.
She had a Chevy Luna. That's what we got around, in a Chevy Luna.
That's a classic.
Classic, you know. So look, man, I got to the point where I had to feel like where I seen the duality of life. I seen what it looked like going over certain friends' house and what it looks like to have a parent making 6 figures, maybe 7 figures.
Mhm.
I've seen that kind of life. I've seen in the same week what it looked like to have a parent making 15,000 a year.
Mm.
You know, maybe 20,000 a year. You know, I've lived off of my lifetime. I've lived off of only making 16,000 a year.
Mhm.
I don't know. I look back at it now. I don't know how in the heck
Right.
I made that happen.
Right. But that's, yeah. But going back to your bottom, your mind can think of, oh, I remember when I couldn't move.
Yeah.
So no matter how hard this entrepreneurial endeavor is, it ain't as hard as that.
It's not as hard as
We
that.
can figure it out. And if it just don't work out, I could do something else.
Right. Right.
So yeah, that's incredible, and that's great.
Yeah, you gotta have a mentality in the entrepreneurial spirit, in the entrepreneurial world to be successful. You have to have a mentality that, look, as long as I got breath in my body, I wake up and I'm gonna figure it out. I'm gonna figure it out. And this is my message to entrepreneurs and people that are striving and aspiring to be entrepreneurs one day. Do not let anyone ever tell you you're doing too much. Don't let anyone ever tell you, are you doing this now? You doing this? You doing that now? Well, won't you pick one thing and just stick with that? Don't let anyone ever tell you that. If they tell you that, they don't understand what it's like to be an entrepreneur. One, they either tried it and was unsuccessful, or two, they never tried it.
That's what it is. Yeah,
That's what it is.
They tried to sell their little Mary Kay.
Right.
And You know, it didn't work out.
It
Nobody
didn't
came
work.
to the party. They
Right,
bought their $300 startup kit.
right.
They just end up using them themselves, and they say, "Oh no, baby, don't do that."
Yeah, don't do that. Don't let nobody
That's
dictate.
awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah,
listen,
come on.
don't, because
Get yourself a
there's
real job.
yeah, right. You know, I'm serious. Get yourself a real job. Go and get you a 9 to 5. Go get you a real job. What's a real job?
Yeah,
I mean, listen. Or that's a multi-level marketing scheme. That's a scheme. Look, multi-level. First of all, I'm gonna say my first point that I want to say. There's been multiple times in my life, had I only did one thing, I would have lost everything.
yeah.
It was multiple times in my life because I did multiple different things. When A failed, C was winning. And when C failed, B was winning. And when B and C fell, and I was like, oh my God, I'm about to lose everything, A start winning.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? So it kept me until B and C. And then those really good moments is A, B, and C all winning. Those are the high moments. You know what I mean? Those are the moments we all live for, you know, as an entrepreneur, but it don't happen like that every time. But don't ever let opportunities like Mary Kay, or opportunities like Primerica, opportunities like
But you say Primerica?
yeah,
Okay.
Primerica, like opportunities like that, man. Those are really great opportunities. Those are opportunities to sharpen your entrepreneurial skills. You know, especially even if you've been at this for some time, there's so much to learn in those areas. There's so many different ways to manage your time, so many different people you meet, networking and relationships you'll meet along the way. It's not even about money all the time. You know, those are great opportunities to sharpen your teeth up as an entrepreneur, because they force you to go and work. And don't let everybody say, oh, that's a multi-level marketing scheme. Look, every company in this world recruits. Every company in this world recruits.
Yeah.
JJ Wentworth recruits, McDonald's recruits, Burger King recruits, Target, Walmart recruits. They say, hey, come on, we hiring, come check us out. Interview, hey, you want an application? Come check us out, come check us out. We got the best benefits. You hear what I'm saying? We got the best benefits. We got college benefits. We got health care. UPS recruit, you know. And guess what? And when you go in, you're going to work underneath somebody. Because when you go in, this person that recruited you, you're going to get recruited. And then you're going to go in, you're going to work underneath a manager, right? And that manager works underneath a district manager. And that district manager works under a regional manager. And that regional manager works under a regional president. And that regional president works under a vice president. And that vice president works under a president. And that president works underneath the CFO. And that CFO works underneath the CEO. It just keeps going. So my whole point of that is when you have opportunities like, so this person gonna bring me in, and then I work underneath this person, and then I gotta get people underneath of me.
Right.
Stop killing it, because you're gonna do that anyway. Even if you got a 9-to-5 job, that's still your reality.
Yeah. A lot of people are afraid of selling. So, especially selling to people that they know, they feel like, oh, this is my personal contact list. This is my personal friends. You know, I feel like if I badger them, they don't like it. They don't like me. And then I got to get new friends.
Then I got to get new friends.
So I think that's what, I mean, part of that has held me back from jumping into that. So I was like, you know what? I can sell in my safe zone, which I brought up before, selling to strangers. And that way, if they don't like me, I'll have to get new friends.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you also get the nice base salary. But I will say, I have made the most money with the job on 100% commission.
Oh yeah.
I sold home security systems for ADT while I was in Ohio, and I made in an area where Ohio compared to Philadelphia, Cincinnati, Ohio compared to Philadelphia. I'm sure people have a lot more money to spend, and
Right.
people are making higher wages in the Philadelphia region.
Right.
So I was expecting to make lower, deal with people pitching me lower wages and stuff.
Right.
But getting in that opportunity, man, I made way more money on a commission-based job where they gave me leads. The marketing team gave me 2 accounts to go to a day. So the person already called someone on the phone. They're already expecting some kind of alarm system, probably a super base package. And then I go there and I halfway through installing it, I upsell them to like a giant package.
Mm-hmm.
End up spending thousands of dollars, way more than they thought they were going to spend.
Right.
And they feel safer. And that's a great job, and I would consider doing it again.
I would, man.
I had to install, so I had a health issue where I was in the hospital laid up for about a month, and that took me out the game with that. But yeah, 100% commission opportunities. If you have skills, or you're with a company who will invest in you and giving you those skills, it could be a very lucrative opportunity. But it takes a lot of guts.
Yeah.
And it takes a lot of self-confidence. And I get my confidence, real confidence, from skills. Someone can rah me to death. Please, anyone, do not send me YouTube motivational videos. I don't need any motivation. I don't need motivation. My motivation comes from God, comes from myself. It's all internal. My family. I don't need any more motivation. But skills, confidence in my skills, that's what gives me the motivation to go out there, because I'm like, okay, now it's a number. If I know if I can close 1 out of every 50 leads, then it's just math from there.
Right.
So I think even the sales is pretty close to, I don't think there's a huge gap in the career salesperson and the entrepreneur. The big gap is risk, but I think there's a whole other mindset that I definitely want to tap into. I did tap into as we talk. So this is going to be an interview show. It's not just going to be me and Tyrone talking. It's really, we're going to be doing a lot of the listening. We have a great show tomorrow.
Yeah, we're gonna have a great show tomorrow. Gonna have some really good guests on tomorrow from all different walks of life. And again, this show is to tap into the work life, man. From working on a regular job to working on an entrepreneur job to working on a multi-level marketing job to working on any kind of job you can imagine, man. And also what I want to do is I want to strive every time we have this show. I want to strive to be able to give you guys some different opportunities that may be successful for you. Some things that I've done some research on, or I have personal experience on, and where I can say, hey, look, you guys might want to try this out, check this out, especially for your entrepreneurs or those that's thinking about doing it. Even if it's just an extra, source of income, I want to have a couple things for you guys every show to be able to help you add some tools to your toolbox. That's what this show is about, is building your toolbox and building your toolbox and sources of income, building your toolbox and your temperament and dealing with your job on a day-to-day basis. Knowing that you're not the only one going through issues or going through, whatever it is that you're going through on your job.
Absolutely. Yeah, you said it right there. You're not the only one. And I want to hear all the stories, man. We're going to have some sisters calling in tomorrow that are going to let it off their chest.
Yep.
Tomorrow's episode is going to be, how fake do you have to be at your job?
Right.
And we got business owners calling in, and we got some people who were career employees, low and high up on the ladder.
All right.
And they're going to have some dynamite stories to share. And we're going to laugh. We might cry, and that's all right.
That's
And
all right.
It's going to be great.
I am excited.
And yeah, I had one of my guests. I'm really hoping she gets on. And she seems like she's 100% in. But she thanked us. She said, "Thank you guys for this platform." So I'm really expecting her to come through and just let us know, let the world know as a Black woman what it's like in corporate America. Just a little glimpse. It's gonna be beautiful.
Yeah, man, it's gonna be beautiful, man. It's just gonna be amazing. And we have so much stuff that we want to do on this channel. I know, personally speaking, you know, I'm going to be striving to have some giveaways for you guys. And this channel is a source of strength, a source of inspiration, a source of faith. You know, anything that you can possibly imagine that you need on a daily basis, getting up, working, providing for a family. You're gonna find some part of that on this show, and I'm excited for everything that it is that we can do, and that we're gonna accomplish.
For sure. All right, man. Well, I think the people are excited. We figured out this live thing. So if you suffered through the first few minutes of this video, I thank you. Hopefully you were entertained. Hopefully you were enlightened. One or the other, or both.
Right.
So, any final words, Ron?
Hey man, tune in tomorrow. Don't be late, big bro. What time we gonna do the official start show tomorrow?
9 p.m. Eastern. We're gonna start getting flyers ready.
Okay, 9 p.m. Eastern. Tune in. You know what I mean? It's gonna be a blast. We're gonna have really good people come through, like we said already. And I am super ecstatic. I'd rather be doing this show with no one else but my main man you see right there in the screen. Again, elbow grease is going to be, it's going to be a blast.
All right, let me get out of here. I got to get up and meet that white man early in the morning.
All right, brother. Peace out, family.